How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Weed Mine. I am Nick, and in this video we're going to go over the IPollo V1 Mini Gold Edition, but we're also going to go over the shop that I purchased them from, BelayMining.com. Now these little guys, I really like these little guys. And I got 5 of them total. What these guys do are 300 hash on ETH or ETC at only 240 watts. Pretty efficient. Not the most efficient thing out there, but actually really efficient. The only thing that I've really seen beat that are the Jazz miners, but overall these guys are really nice, really convenient. They come with their own power supply. They don't run terribly super hot. If you run them indoors in an air-conditioned area, they actually run fairly cool, and the fan speeds are really low. You can't hear them all that bad. And plus, Wi-Fi. If you don't want to hardwire them up, you got the Wi-Fi option. Now, one thing I plan on doing is once I get my little server rack over here taken care of, along with a couple of network switches, I am going to hardwire them because Wi-Fi does seem to add a little bit of latency, which means higher latency, higher chance of stale shares. So it's really not going to make that much of a difference, but less stale shares is better. So let's go ahead, go inside, look at some of the details, and go over the site that I got it from, BelayMining.com.
So the IPollo V1 Mini Gold Edition. This thing is actually really nice. You might be thinking, is like, what the heck is he getting Ethereum miners for now when like the merge is a week away, if that? Because this thing can do Ethereum Classic as well, and potentially a firmware update to maybe start mining other stuff. Not confirmed yet, but the possibility is there for pretty much anything on the ETH. And if there happens to be a fork, maybe these guys can do that as well. It all depends on IPollo and how they update that firmware. But as you can see, it advertises 300 mega hash on ETH, and right now I'm at 299.8 in my 24-hour effective. That's really accurate, really dead on. I can't complain. I mean, I always wish they were always a little bit higher than what they advertise, as a lot of these companies that make ASICs, they actually tend to bring their numbers down just a little bit so people don't complain when they get them. That's just kind of what they do. And that's usually how they end up working out. But, you know, used ones or whatever, it really all depends. But this guy, brand new from Belay Mining, and it's working really good. To go down here, you can see I got 5 of them running right now. And let's take a look at number 2 here. This guy's running a 24-hour average effective of 306.7. So better than everything, but a 0.7% stale rate. I usually like to keep that under 0.5. Once it starts going over that, I start getting a little, is it really that big of a deal? No, but I don't like that. But that's why we come to this guy. This guy's 24-hour effective is only 277.2. Could just be bad luck, and this guy's only literally been running for about a day, if that. Actually, not even a day, so ignore that completely. This guy I haven't even up for 24 hours because I got him a little later. Stale percentage, though, 0.91 so far. That's almost 1 full percent. I don't like that. But probably the easiest way to fix that is to take it off Wi-Fi and put on hardline, right? Why is that? You know, Wi-Fi always tends to have a little bit more meh in terms of latency, and especially with the setup that I got where I have repeaters and stuff around to make sure I got wider coverage, the latency goes up a tad bit. So especially in my case. But that's going to get fixed, as I mentioned out in the mining shed there. It'll get fixed. I'm going to have those server racks with the little plugs and everything. So these IPollos I actually really like. They run surprisingly quiet. See, this is another one of the last 2 that I got. I haven't even had for 24 hours. So this guy is still ramping up. They all report 300 mega hash. And that's the one thing that I might not like about these guys, is that they all report 300 mega hash regardless of what they're mining, it seems. It's always reported 300 flat. It's like that's hard-coded into their system. They're not going to report anything other than 300. And I don't really like that. It feels fake, but as long as the actual performance is right at around 300 as advertised, then I guess it's a non-issue, right? That'd be perfectly fine. So let's go into the little miner config here. Miner configuration on these guys is pretty easy. This is the latest firmware as far as I know, and configuring this guy is really easy. You just I've seen a lot of videos out there where it's like, oh, go download this thing so that you can, you know, surf and find the IP for the device and all this stuff. Okay. If you guys want to do it that route, go ahead, check out their videos and everything. Basically, all you really have to do is if you're mining, okay, if you're into this stuff, chances are you have your own router, right? You're probably not using like Comcast router or Cox router or Verizon router or whatever the heck you might be. You probably have your own router. Like me, I have an Asus Raptor crazy freaking router. I actually have 3 of them doing the freaking mesh network thing. It's actually pretty good, but I'm assuming you guys have your own router. You guys know how to log into your router. You guys know how to look at the network map and figure out your IP. If you don't, there's other videos for that. I'm not going to go into that. That's really easy. You find the IP, you punch it in, boom, you go here. The default username and password, root, and you get in, okay? Miner configuration, you want to make sure that you have your stratum and everything you are on here. This is just your wallet plus worker. Password, I found that a lot of places you at least need the X. Okay, by default, it's going to have some weird thing in here. You at least need the X. If you leave the password blank, or sometimes even try other things, it might not work. So leave it at X to test it first, and you know that'd be all good. All the stuff down here, unless you're an advanced user, you don't need to worry about it. As far as coins go, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, that's all these support for now. Fan configuration, if you are running these actually inside your house, that's kind of what they're designed for. They're home miners, right? Produce a little bit of heat, they sit at home. And during the winter, if you have one plugged in, it generates a little bit of heat inside your home. Hey, you know, heat's heat. Maybe it'll help you like balance your electric bill a tad bit. For me, all of them are out in the mine, and out in the mine, it's fairly hot out there. And these guys, they say they're not designed to do it, but I'm finding out that they handle it just perfectly fine. Minimum fan when it comes in stock is usually set at 30. I've set it at 60. Make sure they run a little bit harder so they're not getting hotter. Can't talk today. Can't talk any day. Maximum fan, I just leave those alone. As far as wireless setting goes, this is actually pretty easy. When this pops up, like this fourth one here will not be there. Okay, this is, you know, the Weeb Lounge. This is my thing. Basically, you go up here, you click scan, a list will pop up, pick the one you want, click add, it'll come down here, and make sure after you get the one here that you save and apply down here. I was dumb. I was really dumb. I was wondering, why isn't Wi-Fi working? Why is it always me? Why do I always have these problems? It's because even though you add it to the list, it's not applied. I kind of wish once you add it to the list, it saved it and it was kind of applied, because that's the whole point of finding it from the list and adding it, right? Okay, so you find it from the list, you add it, and then you click save and apply. Don't do what I did and not click that and then wonder why I'm not getting signal. Okay, it seemed kind of dumb, but whatever. Once you get in there, you're all good. And that's all there is to it. That's quick and dirty. That is way quick and dirty. This guy, you'll notice, one thing that you'll notice, this guy is going to take about 5, 6, maybe even up to 8 minutes to ramp up and start actually reporting anything. If you start this up after a few minutes and you don't see any information up here, this is all zeros, then something might be wrong. As long as you see the temperature and the fan reporting properly, then you should be okay. Wait for this to update, and eventually it'll go, and you'll start seeing this bar go and go and go and go and do what it got to do. Right now, 302 mega hash on ETH. So hey, we're running really perfectly good. Now, these things I really like. Remember, advertise 300 hash at 240 watts. That is the equivalent, roughly, of 3 3080s. And the average 3080 consumes about 220 to 225 watts. So, you know, 675 watts for 3 3080s, or 240 watts for the same hash rate. A lot more efficient, these IPollos. A lot more efficient. So, and here's the thing I really wanted to mention. A lot of people are thinking that Ethereum Classic might be the next big thing to go to. I don't know about that. I'm willing to bet that it will be profitable, but you're going to have some very efficient ASICs to make it profitable. I don't think it's going to be good for GPUs at all. I really don't. That's going to be Ergo, Firo, Flux, Raven, whatever else other coin. I'm really hoping for Ergo. If not Ergo, I'm going for Flux. Raven coin, Kapow, anything on that, I'm hoping not. But on Ethereum Classic, you can mine it with GPUs, but the power ratio efficiency is just really bad. It's just really bad. So Yes, you can mine on Ethereum Classic. I believe, not financial advice, I get that out of the way again, because words, whatever. I believe it only ASICs are going to be the things that are profitable on it. If you don't have ASICs, you don't have really, really good efficiency, you're just not going to eke out a profit. And probably after the merge and a lot of people start going there and the difficulty starts getting higher and such, profitability will probably go down even from there, at least for a little while. You know, once a lot of people start mining and the network gets stronger and stronger and stronger, more and more developers might make their way towards Ethereum Classic because they're going to look at it and be like, oh, hey, this is actually really secure now. The hash rate is starting to spread out. And, you know, right now it's got that 3,000 confirmations per transaction or something stupid. If they get rid of that, then you could see Ethereum Classic really come out strong. But that's a whole bunch of ifs, ands, or buts, right? So IPollo 300 mega hash at 240 watts. It's efficient. It's easy. Super, super simple with these things. As long as you're not me and you know how to click apply. Yeah, I wasted like a half hour of my life just like wondering why Wi-Fi ain't working or whatever. Okay, so these guys are good products, but you know what I'm going to say? Don't buy one. I'll explain that in a minute. Don't buy one. Let's go over to Belay Mining. Belay Mining. These are the guys that I purchased all these from. Okay, I purchased 5 of them total, all from Belay Mining, and I had a little bit of an internal running joke with me and a couple of friends. I was calling them delay mining. Why is that? Let's put it this way. Let's see if I can pull up my calculator here. Calendar. It's a calendar, not a calculator. Doesn't add buttons. I get those two confused. My brain is weird. Okay. I placed the order for these guys on the 14th. Okay, that's a Sunday. All right, I know they're not going to ship on that. When I placed the order, the guys said, right here, the USA stock, it said 5 to 7 days to process. Okay. But the problem is, after a few days of the order being in, it changed to what you see now, the 7 to 10. Like, okay, I wasn't terribly happy with that, but all right, whatever. I'm a patient person. I can wait 10 days. On that 10th day, they did make a shipment, but they only shipped 1. Just 1, not 5, 1. Started getting me a little worried. It's like, okay, I don't know why they're doing this, but that's kind of not cool. And then it took another whole week for them to ship out the remaining 4. And the modes of shipping that they used was UPS super slow boat. Okay, and shipping on these things is like not cheap at all. I understand the shipping is not cheap because they have to pay for extra insurance and it's a really big order. So shipping isn't going to be cheap as long as they're, charging fairly, because insurance on packages is actually pretty expensive. I give them a pass on that. I used to ship all around the world with shoppingmalljapan.com back in the day. So I know my thing when it comes to shipping, especially to China. I've shipped to China, Singapore, Malaysia, every country in Europe, half the countries in Africa, every country in South America, Taiwan, China. They're 2 different countries. And a whole bunch of other things. All right. Everywhere in the world I've shipped. So I kind of get it. I understand the high shipping costs, but at the same time, be careful or give a little bit of a discount, because high shipping really, really takes people away, from wanting to do business. At least us Americans, right? Us Americans, we love free shipping. If you raise the price of this, say shipping was $50 or whatever, you raise the price of the miner $50 and be like, hey, free shipping. Us silly Americans will just be like, okay, it's free shipping, saving money, right? We don't think about that. I mean, we should. We really should. Not everybody, but you know what I'm getting at. Okay, now, other than the weird shipping delay times, I'm going to give Belay Mining a really, really good pass, because anytime I contacted them, they replied damn near immediately. I mean, it was quick. Okay, I would send them an email. I would go like, fill my drink, come back, and boom, they had it answered already. So like, communication was never an issue. They were just spot on, like faster than just about any other company other than my own that I used to own. I've got to brag there. Than, any other company I've really dealt with. So they've really, really replied. And I can't complain much, because, all the product got here. They all work perfectly fine. Everything's all good. And plus, if you're in the US or Canada, you can use a credit card with this place. Okay, there's not very many places that let you use a credit card. All right, because there's a whole bunch of scams and stupid stuff out there. So a lot of these companies just do not want to take credit cards, because the scams go both ways. All right, you have people, you have these scammers making fake websites and everything, trying to get people to go there, buy a cheap miner, and then just run off with the money. And then you also have, you know, the customers or whatever who swipe it on their card, and then they call their credit card company and they're like, oh, hey, I didn't get it, and cause even more issues and trying to pull scams or using stolen info or whatever the heck, you know? So kudos to Belay Mining for taking credit cards, and I actually really appreciate that because I get cash back. Haha. All right, so I mentioned a little earlier, don't buy these. Okay, there's two reasons why. One would turn you off completely, and the other reason is because there's new ones. Okay, let's go ahead, go here, and you got this guy. All right. Now, I say don't buy it. There's one of two reasons, and I guess you guys can pick. One reason is if you don't believe Ethereum Classic is going to be profitable in the long term, or you're not going to be mining it for a long time. Now, the Gold Edition, and plus this one I'm about to show you, has 6 gigabytes of video RAM, which theoretically will allow it to mine Ethereum Classic until like 2031. So you plug it in, wait 9-10 years or whatever, and then check on it then. You know, you can do this, okay? But Ethereum Classic does have to be profitable. Like I said, I believe ASICs and really efficient miners will be able to handle that, whereas GPUs will not. So that's just kind of my take on it. These guys, I don't buy the gold ones. Go with these guys. If you were about to pull the trigger on the gold, say no, get these. Why? Because it's the same. It's actually a little less power, but you're getting another 100 hash out of it. 400 hash instead of 300 at 232 watts instead of 240. A lot more power efficient, a lot more profitable than, well, not a lot, but you know, pennies are pennies every day, right? And that really matters right now in this economy. So this guy is the one to get. And do I plan to order some? Yes, absolutely I do. And it's going to take a while for me to get them. So, you know, first I got to mine that last little bit of Ethereum for the next 5 days, hopefully, and get that going. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, guys. So needless to say, my experience with the IPollos are really good. The Gold Edition ones, I got all 5 from Belay Mining, pretty good. It feels like it took an extra long amount of time, which is why I called it delay mining. But you know what? I know about, you know, shipping and times, and especially if they're doing like the drop ship stuff from China, there's a whole bunch of delays and crap and crazy stuff going out of China. Let's put it this way: if you've been paying attention to any kind of news coming out of China, things are bad. Okay, like mainland China is really, really bad for the most part. So for anything to actually be on time is kind of a miracle at this point. But that aside, this is kind of what you got to do. If you're going to order from these guys, you know, yes, it says 10 to 15 days. They're going to do their best, I assume, to try to meet that. But if they don't get that or whatever, be patient. Give them some time. It took a little while longer, approximately 3.5 weeks for them to get me my full order, but the product that I got, all brand new, all works great. Can't complain about that whatsoever. So I guess just be patient. Or it could simply be the product that I ordered. They had to pre-order or back order or something happened, and I could just be a one-off. It could very well be that. But overall, good customer service. I got all the products. They work perfectly fine, and I am perfectly happy with it. Let's go back to the IPollo here. 302.4, still running strong. Everything looking all good. Temps are fine. One last little thing that I probably should have mentioned earlier with these IPollos is the temperatures here. This is like pretty optimal. Okay, this is pretty good. At least what I've experienced and read and researched with these IPollos is that you don't really want to exceed like 61, 62 degrees Celsius. In all reality, you want to keep it under 60 degrees Celsius. That seems to be the sweet spot. And that seems to be where pretty much all mine are sitting. So that's actually a really good thing. Colder the better, of course. So can't complain about the IPollos. Belay Mining, they turned out to be pretty good. Could be a one-off with my delay thing, but you know, hey, whatever the case may be. There are some codes out there. I don't have one personally for my channel. Maybe one of these days I'll get to that point. But if you do a little search on YouTube and find a couple of the other mining site guys or whatever, there's a couple codes around that you can dig up for like 25 bucks off or something like that. So don't just go in and buy it. At least get you 25 bucks. I mean, if you're going to spend $3 grand, $25 is like a real drop in the bucket, slap in the face, whatever. But I would rather take a slap with money than no slap at all. So we'll catch you in the next video.